Hey guys, how's it going, everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in tonight for another live. Really appreciate it. What I want to talk about tonight is the reaction that I'm sure many of you have seen to the United States hockey players, particularly Austin Matthews, Kachuk, a few captains of Canadians team, the type of blowback that they are getting after deciding to visit the White House. A couple of disgusting articles, in my opinion, have been produced by guys like Damian Cox, Cathal Kelly, Globe and Mail, the Toronto Star, kind of the usual suspects. These kind of liberal rags that we now have in Canada, and how it really portends the Canadian psychology in a country where we are continuing to fall further and further behind the United States in nearly every economic measure. There are certain measures that say that on a GDP per capita basis, which is usually considered the best measure of how your average citizen is doing, every single Canadian province is now behind the poorest US state, which is Alabama. Now, there are some people who contend whether or not that's true, but it's beyond a shadow of a doubt that our Canadian economy is struggling like crazy, certainly compared to the United States. And I think that this moral preening that we have seen on a consistent basis from some of our top media members is a perfect sign of what's going on in this country. So yeah, so we have thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. It's great to see everybody saying, "Hey Zita, how's it going? Nice to see you." Thank you very much for everybody who's tuning. Hey bro, how's it going? Nice to see everybody. 100%, totally agree. Great to see you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We greetings, guys. The goats are here. The goats are here. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. Everybody who's tuning in. I think in terms of the Fight for Canada Party, in terms of our policy, I think you have a lot of exciting things. And you guys are here. You guys are here from the ground floor up. Fight for Canada. Let's go. Thank you very much, everybody who's tuning in. This is great. Very excited. As I said, this is getting in on the ground floor of what is going to be the most exciting political movement in Canada. And just to give you guys a bit of Gretzky is still the best. Absolutely. Gretzky's 100% the best. For those of you who haven't seen, great to see you guys. For those of you who haven't seen, Mike Commodore, former NHL player, I totally agree with you. Mike Commodore, former NHL player, reported that Team Canada's great to see you guys. Hey guys, great to see everybody. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Mike Commodore is reporting that Wayne Gretzky wanted to speak to the Canadian men's national team prior to the gold medal game, and CEO Catherine McKenna would not allow Gretzky to speak to the team before the game. Now, Team Canada has denied that, but I think it perfectly encapsulates the woke mind virus. I like to call it the woke mind virus. You can call it whatever you want. You're exactly right. It's exactly right. The reason that Canada's senior leadership team did not apparently want Gretzky speaking to the team before the game is because, Justin, thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it, bro. Justin, really appreciate it, bro. That's so kind of you. Really appreciate it. Every penny goes directly into the Fight for Canada movement. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you, Justin. Thank you so much. Yeah, I totally agree. The way that the media, that's actually the main thing. Greetings from Montreal. Great to see you, Danny. We'll have to meet up sometime because I'm in Montreal as well. The way that the Canadian media has reacted That's awesome. Thanks, Mad Canada. Really appreciate it. That'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. We need to get the message out as best we can because we know that the CBC, CTV, Global News, they just feed us pure liberal slop. Pure liberal slop. They'll never give us the truth. There are so few avenues for Canadians who actually see what's going on. Greetings. It's brainwashing. Brainwashing is absolutely the correct way to put it. Brainwashing is what's going on in this country. But what I wanted to talk about was how the Canadian media is framing what's gone on. It's disgusting. I don't know how many of you guys have thought this, but the United States had not won a gold medal in the Olympics since 1980. Since 1980. It has been 46 years since the United States won a gold medal in the Olympics. Are you kidding me? Regardless of what you think of Donald Trump, do you actually think that these players should not take the once in a lifetime opportunity to go to the White House and be at the State of the Union address? How delusional. Great to see a Commander Thal. They played their hearts out and won. Fair enough. Yeah, exactly. How delusional. Would anybody in this chat, is there a single person in the chat, regardless of what country you're from, regardless of your political affiliation, is there a single person after they won the gold medal who wouldn't want to go to the White House and go to the State of the Union address? Is there a single person who wouldn't do that, regardless of your political affiliation? I'm saying, regardless of whether you support Donald Trump, you're not a fan of Donald Trump, it's a huge honor either way. How many times in your life are you going to have the opportunity to go to a State of the Union address and get addressed by the president? You'd have to be absolutely wild to go. And I think that it really shows the narcissism of the Canadian media. Yeah, everybody would go. It shows the delusional narcissism of the Canadian media because Damian Cox, because Cathal Kelly doesn't like Donald Trump, they can't conceptualize a world where they're Austin Matthews, they're Kachuk. Well, obviously, they'd never be those people. They're pathetic woke journalists. They're not gold medal winning hockey players. But just the ability that they can't put themselves in a U.S. hockey player's shoes, and they actually think they're delusional enough to think Damian Cox came up with a message saying the Leafs should get rid of Matthews because he went to the White House and he shook Trump's hand and he went to the State of the Union address. How delusional do you have to be? And I think it gives a great insight into these wokies, And the other thing, the other thing to you guys is, isn't it kind of cool that in the US, they win a gold medal, their hockey team wins a gold medal, and they get to celebrate it at the State of the Union and Trump shouts them out? Why in Canada? We had some gold medal winners, not nearly as much as we used to, but we have gold medal winners. Why aren't we doing anything in Canada for our gold medal winners? If Fight for Canada was in power, I would invite every gold medal winner to Ottawa and have a huge celebration for them. Like, let's get some patriotism going. Let's get some national pride going here. The reason that nobody wants to sign up for the Canadian military, that we're 15,000 military members short, and now we need to bring in foreign military members, is because there's no national pride. Like, we have Canadians who have won a gold medal. Why are we not doing anything for our gold medal winners? No, I think Austin Matthews, I'll be happy when Austin Matthews leaves Toronto. The way he's being treated right now is absolutely disgusting in my estimation. Absolutely disgusting. I will be so happy for Austin Matthews when he leaves Toronto. I will be so happy for Austin Matthews when he leaves to go play in the United States. But why in Canada? Mark Carney, who's in India right now, Mark Carney, again, out of the country in India. He's seemingly never in Canada. Mark Carney's in India. Why are we not celebrating our gold medal winners? Like, the U.S. does this huge thing. Trump calls them immediately after they win a gold medal. They get invited to the State of the Union. They get to go to the White House. They shake Trump's hand. The reason that we have no national pride in Canada is because Where is Mark Carney telling the story of our Olympic heroes? Where is Mark Carney telling the story of Canada? You can say whatever you want about Donald Trump. He's a proud American, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he talks about what makes America great. Whereas in Canada, how frequently do you see Carney talking about what type of a proud Canadian he is? Never. And Carney didn't invite a single, I'm interested. I'm going to get back to this, but yeah, we don't have a leader. Have you ever seen Carney speak with pride about what it means to him to be a Canadian? Have you ever, exactly, Trump loves his people. Have you guys ever seen Carney get out there and speak about our Canadian heroes? When you read stories about Canadians fighting in World War I, particularly World War II, Canadians were known as being the most courageous, bravest fighters. But I never hear Carney talk about that whatsoever. I have my grandfather's brother wound up passing away because he got PTSD after fighting for Canada in World War II. And I see Mark Carney out there talking about how Muslim values are Canadian values. It's like, how about talking about the people who built this country for us? The people who fought in World War II. We literally would not have a country if not for these people. But after the Olympics, Carney does not even invite what I would do if I was a leader immediately after the Olympics had ended. I would invite every medal winner to Ottawa and put on a big show of it, put on a big pageantry of it, and have them tell their stories and get some Canadian pride going. The reason that we're so underserved in our military, the reason that we're 15,000 recruits short, is what all the Liberals tell us is how horrible a country Canada is, how we're on stolen land. It's a real mind virus. These people are sick. It's a self-hatred. It's the exact same type of thing. You'll never see a human being be exceptional, which is what America is built on. They're striving to be an exceptional country. They're going to make mistakes, absolutely. But you know that the goal is the US wants to be the best of the best. They're striving to be exceptional. In Canada, it's almost as though that type of a mindset, wanting to be the absolute best, is something to be looked down upon. That's really what it strikes me as. It's such a victim mentality. The story of your nation is so important. The story that you tell your people. And the story that the Liberals tell Canadians is that we're on stolen land, the hoax of the mass graves, the DEI BS that says that all Canadians are bigots or haters, yada yada yada. It's such a negative vantage point. It's like we need a total 180 in this country, and it's been perfectly exemplified by what's gone on after the Olympics. How pathetic are these Canadian journalists crapping on American players for showing up at the State of the Union? You'd have to be delusional not to do it. You'd have to be delusional. I'm not sucking up to them. We need to stop sucking up to. Oh, absolutely. No, I totally agree. How many of you guys agree? I feel as though the whole Canadian persona has become, we're not Americans. That's what the entire Canadian persona has become, is everybody being so proud of saying, I am not an American. Like, that's not what you can build a country on. You cannot build a country on, we're not this country. It's the same as you as an individual human being. You can't build yourself as a human being on saying, thank you very much, really appreciate it. Oh, and I also was just actually on the True Patriot Love podcast. I'll send the link out to you guys as soon as they post it. But yeah, if you guys have any podcasts that you want to see me on, you'd like me to link up with, I don't know if anybody is familiar with the Dominion Society, but I was actually thinking of teaming up with them and going on a show with them. They stream relatively frequently, and we have similar immigration policies. So I was thinking of potentially going on the Dominion Society at some point. No, do you think that the Americans respect the Canadians? There's absolutely zero chance. It's so pathetic. Such sore losers. Who acts like this? It's lose with grace. We lost the gold medal game. Congratulate the United States. You know what I mean? In the world, how much respect do you think Canada has right now? You gain so much respect by losing with grace. losing with grace gains you more respect than almost winning. But the Canadian media can't do it. They take every opportunity to crap on Americans, Who wouldn't go to the State of the Union address? It strikes me as delusional. And then Wayne Gretzky, how insane is it? Wayne Gretzky is the definition of a Canadian hero. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm live streaming as well. And guys, thank you so much in the chat. And I so appreciate your support, your super chats. Every penny goes towards Fight for Canada. I'm actually designing right now banners to put around the streets. If you guys are interested, I will send them to you as soon as they're designed, because we need to start getting our message out there more and more and more, because I can feel in Canada, the tide is turning. The tide is absolutely turning towards people are waking up. People are absolutely waking up to how insane, thank you very much, to how insane this country has become, how we're letting in 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 million people a year when our economy is struggling like crazy. We have 4 million Canadians using food banks. We have the highest inflation of the G7. Since Mark Carney was elected, 7.4% inflation, highest in the G7. Vancouver and Toronto, when you consider the average income, are the two most expensive cities to live in North America. Put the Canadian people first. This should be basic common sense. The government does not have a right to exist if they don't put the citizens of your country first. And in Canada, they literally prefer newcomers. It's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. But Canadians are waking up. Canadians are seeing what's going on. And I think that we are going to see a wave, and we are the leaders of that wave. That are going to say, enough. No, we need a total moratorium on people coming into the country. No more benefits for these fake asylum seekers, which is what they are. They're fake asylum seekers. And what are the actual Canadian values? Realizing that Canada was built on a Christian ethic and Roman law. That's what Canada was built on. Canada was built on a Christian ethic and Roman law. That's absolutely what the country is built on, the values that the country is built on. Thank you so much, Martin, for the super chat. Really appreciate it, bro. God bless. Thanks so much, Martin. That is what the country was built on. It's a fact. It's a fact that those are the values that built this incredible country. When the settlers arrived here, the idea that a civilization was stolen from the indigenous is such an abject joke. The civilization that existed when the indigenous arrived has no relation to what Canada became. It was essentially travelers from Britain and France, Catholics and Protestants, who arrived here, and that's where whether we're talking about property law, whether we're talking about everybody looking the same value in front of God. These are the values that built Canada, but they're disappearing. People just say, oh, multiculturalism, oh, pluralism, and they don't realize that these values that they promote are built on the back of the Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded on. If you want to live in a country with Muslim values, move to one of the 55 Muslim majority countries. There are 55 of them. There are wildly different values in those countries. I love what Restore Britain is doing. Restore Britain is banning the burqa, and Restore Britain is banning halal meat. Like, there are 55 Muslim majority countries. When you walk around Canada nowadays, the number of people walking around who look as though they're dressed for a medieval execution is shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And we need to start piping up. A lot of Canadians have been, yes, Texas has banned it. France has banned it. It's a big part of Restore Britain's campaign is to ban the burqa, because those are not Canadian values. We view women and everybody knows it's a Roman Catholic value. Everybody is viewed as an equal before God. And those are not the values of the 55 Muslim majority countries. India, where Mark Carney is right now, they have a caste system. It's the exact opposite of everybody equal before God. Our values, Canadian values, need to be fought to be protected, because if we don't fight, can you imagine that with the radical transformation already? Can you imagine what this country is going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years? We need a total moratorium on immigration. We need to get rid of the 500 to 750,000 people. Love you, bro. Thank you so much. Stop that's exactly, we have an invasion of commies. We have an invasion of commies in Canada. That's exactly what we have, and we need to start fighting back, because in 5 years this country is going to cease to exist as we've known it. It will literally cease to exist. In the UK, they already have over 85 Sharia courts. In this country already, we're seeing certain new arrivals from certain religions getting off much more easily. I don't know how many of you guys saw this story, but these four Muslim guys got arrested for trafficking young Canadian women in the GTA between the age of 11 and 14, and they're out on bail already. I kid you not, the most heinous crime. These men were in jail for trafficking 11 to 14-year-old Canadian women, and they're already out on bail. That's how corrupt and disgusting this country has become. It literally favors foreigners over Canadian citizens. It needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. We need to be able to define the values that make this country great. It's the two-tier policing. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. It is absolutely a two-tier justice system in which, if you are under the umbrella of who the Liberals consider to be their support group, of which Muslims, of course, are a large piece of it, the LGBTQ community, essentially the entire Canadian community, you are treated a wildly different way than. Have you guys seen the free speech, anti-free speech bills they're trying to pass now? Bill C8, Bill C9, Bill C63, the most extreme anti-free speech bills I've ever seen in my life. They want to create in Canada, this is the law they are attempting to pass, a law that would see the creation of something called a Digital Safety Commission, which will feature 10 unelected bureaucrats and an ombudsman, 10 unelected bureaucrats and an ombudsman, where you can be put under house arrest, have all of your weapons confiscated, and be sentenced to prison, not for anything you've said, but if somebody reports you to the authorities and says that they believe you are likely to say something hateful in the future. Now, if that's not Orwellian, if that's not dystopian, I don't know what is. They want to be able to lock you up, not for anything that you've said, but for the belief that you may say something hateful in the future. And we all know who these laws are actually coming for. They're coming for people who criticize immigration. There's absolutely no doubt about it. It is going to be illegal. Absolutely. It's better to die on your feet than live on your knees. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Yeah, idol worshiping, not Christian faith. Absolutely. Open door policy is destruction. We need a total moratorium in this country. A total moratorium on immigration. It is completely out of control. The immigration in this country is completely out of control. And if we don't reverse it, Canada is going to cease to exist as we know and loved it. This country was built on Christian values, on Roman law. It's a simple fact. Those are the facts. It's not up for debate. Mark Carney can get up there and say, "Oh, we're not a Christian nation. Oh, we believe in Muslim values." Mark Carney, he's a WF Davos shill. Just look at him. He's a truly lifeless man. He's a truly lifeless man. You can tell when looking into his eyes, there's nothing there. This man has spent his entire career helping the wealthiest criminals make money hand over fist. And there are a hell of a lot more of us than there are of them. There are a hell of a lot more of us than there are of them. It's just why we need to get organized, because if there's one thing that the Liberals do know how to do, and I'll give them credit for, it's that they get organized. They organize with one another. Teresa, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much for the support, Teresa. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you so much for the super chat. his eyes are dead. Exactly. If you notice when Mark Carney, hey, how's it going, Donovan? Mark Carney's eyes are dead. He has dead eyes. Look into what he did to one of his children. Look into Tavistock. I know the Canadian media says you're never allowed to talk about this. I'm sorry. This is our prime minister. This is the man with the most political power in this country. Look at what he did to his own child. Sent him to Tavistock, which is now shut down because the process what they were doing at Tavistock was found to be so illegitimate. The science that it stood on, so bereft of legitimacy, they had to shut it down. Look into the CAS study in the UK. Carney let one of his children do that. This man is dead-eyed. This man, it fully buys in to the WEF Davos worldview, which wants to turn every country, doesn't believe in borders, doesn't believe in sovereignty, wants to turn Canada into a post-national state. And you just watch what happens in this country, particularly with certain populations. With the Muslim population, you watch, they scream about minority rights until they're the majority. And then I can promise you, let's just use one simple example. Let's say you're a Christian Canadian and you move to Saudi Arabia. Do you think that you could open a church in Saudi Arabia? Do you think that a Christian who moved to Saudi Arabia or any of the 55 Muslim majority countries would be allowed to open a church? I can tell you with 100% certainty, the answer to that is no. And exactly, there is zero, I can guarantee you there is zero chance. But they show up to Canada, and not only can they open up unlimited mosques, not only can they prey on our streets, shut down our streets, shut down our emergency routes, but we have a prime minister, Taki is exactly right, but we have a prime minister who stands up there and says that Muslim values are Canadian values. And what's actually going to happen with these so-called post-national states? What's actually going to happen is that eventually the Muslims, in my opinion, in all likelihood, Muslim Indian populations are going to take over. And you just watch, white people are only about 7% of the global population. If we become minorities in these countries, you see how we're going to be treated. It is going to be disgusting. We're going to be screwed. We need to defend our homelands. The people don't realize, people act as though white people are this big majority. It's absolutely untrue. We're about 7% of the global population, 7%. And you never hear anybody saying, oh, we need diversity, equity, inclusion in communist China. Oh, we need diversity, equity, inclusion in Japan. Oh, we need diversity, equity, inclusion in the Middle East. No, it's a psyop. It's a total psyop that's being perpetrated on the Western world. Already in Canada, we've gone from something like 97% white to I believe it's like 60 some odd percent now. And what do you think these countries are going to look like in 20 years? It is going to be the Canada that we've known and loved is going to be done, which is why we need fight for Canada. What we're fighting for is a total moratorium on immigration. And we actually need remigration. I don't know how many of you, good evening. Hi, Heidi. I don't know how many, thank you very much, Neptune. Thank you very much. Glad you saw my video. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate the support. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate everybody saying the kind words. And you don't understand how much this means to me. It's so nice to have people in the chat sending me these beautiful messages. I really appreciate it. It motivates me every morning to wake up and put everything I have into fight for Canada. Thank you so much. And I know there's so many like-minded Canadians like us, and we are going to win. It's going to be a battle, but we are going to win. So God bless you. Thank you so much, everybody who supports. It means so much to me. It means so much to me. But we need to start fighting now. In my opinion, what we do need is a total moratorium on immigration. No more people coming in. This explosion of our population from 32 to 42 million is the definition of insanity. It's made Canadians way poorer. The only reason for our government to exist is to serve the Canadian people. Thank you so much, Heidi. Jesus is Lord and King. Absolutely. The only reason for a government to exist is to serve the Canadian people. How many people think that the country is better now with 42 million people than it was in 2006 with 30 million people? Nobody thinks it was better now than it was in 2006. We need to return to the 2006 Canada. We need to return to 30 million. Thank you very much, BC Litter. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We need to return to the Canada of 2006. That's what we need. So we need a total moratorium on immigration, and then everybody who's here illegally, everybody who has an expired visa has to leave. We already have 500,000 people here on expired visas, and there's about 4 million people whose visas are going to be expiring sometime in the next couple of years. Those people all need to go. This country was so much better. Everybody was so much wealthier. Canadians were doing so much better. The only reason for a government to exist is to serve this country. This country was in such better position even 20 years ago, and even 20 years ago, it was better than that. So we need a return to 2006 Canada. That's exactly what we need. We need to turn the clock back. Immigration needs to be shut off for at least the next 5 to 10 years. Everybody who has an expired visa can get out. The only reason for a government to exist is to serve the people of Canada and stand up for the fact that this Canada was built on Christian values. Donovan, thank you so much. Donovan, thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Really appreciate it. The support means so much to me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And a guy who's not a clown, who's going to stand up and say, this country was built on Christian values. This country was built on Roman law. Every man is seen the same before God. Property rights. We have to actually stand. Exactly. In 2006, we could actually afford groceries. That's 100% correct. Donovan, I apologize if any messages are censored. Sorry, guys. I don't, just so you know, I don't censor any messages. If any messages are being censored, it's by YouTube, because I certainly don't censor anything. Thank you, everybody who chats. Absolutely. How insane is it now just going into a grocery store? They can lie to us. They can gaslight us all they want. It's insane. I literally just went and I got a loaf of bread and it was $10. Everything has become wildly more expensive. Yeah, guys, I know YouTube. My apologies if anybody's being censored in the chat. Sorry about that. But everything is so wildly expensive. They can't lie to us about that. Look, Canada, a study just came out. Canada has the highest inflation rate in the entire G7. The highest inflation rate in the entire G7 is in Canada. It's disgusting. And it's due to their policies. It's due to the policies of bringing 8 million people into this country in the past decade. That's why it's getting more unaffordable, because we're spending billions of dollars on phony asylum claimants. I will keep speaking the truth. Thank you very much. That's exactly right. Did you know, and on the issue of government wasting our money, did you know Justin Trudeau spent at least $11 billion on gender studies overseas? That's not a joke. That's a serious statistic. He took our tax dollars, our hard-earned dollars, and he spent $11 billion overseas on gender studies. Think of the insane programs. One thing I'm looking into, if you guys have seen, Nick Shirley did a fantastic job in the States of uncovering all the fraud that's going on there. I'm sure the level of fraud in Canada is similar to there. If you look at what fake refugees are eligible here, the amount of money that they are eligible for free, it is disgusting. It's enough to make you want to throw up. Why should a fake asylum claimant who hasn't paid one penny, who has not paid one penny into the Canadian system, not one penny of tax dollars, be eligible for things like physiotherapy? Things that Canadian citizens are not even eligible for. You're exactly right. I think it's that dystopian. I think they literally want us gone. When you also, you bought a Learning Center shirt. That's actually amazing. When you read into MAID, the statistics, did you know that over 96% of the people who killed themselves through MAID are white? 96% are white through MAID. So when you combine the bringing in 1.5 million immigrants a year with the MAID program, which is now in all likelihood, thank you so much, Donovan. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not blocking the main. Just so you're aware, Donovan, thank you so much. Socialism, communism is exactly the same. Just so you're aware, I'm not blocking any comments. If any comments are being blocked, it's being done. It's being done by YouTube. It's not being done for me. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. No, I totally agree that the WF Davos stooges are absolutely brutal, but immigration plays a massive role. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But bringing in 1.5 million people a year is the definition of insanity. It is the absolute. It's the definition of insanity. If you think that Canada in 2026 with 42 million people is better than it was in 2006 with 32 million people, I think that's crazy. I think that's absolutely insane. And now with MAID, they're just going to keep pumping those numbers up. I have heard that military members who reach out to the government because they need help, because they were injured fighting, they have PTSD, whatever it may be, they are offered MAID. They are offered MAID. They are frequently offered MAID. And the government, this is how they're BSing. The government lags the numbers 2 years on MAID. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they lag 2 years on MAID? They'll tell us. We know in 2023, over 16,000 Canadians. The population count is not 33 million. I've had enough of this moron. There's always one or two wokesters in the chat, and it's enough. We're trying to have a serious conversation from people who actually want to do something for this country. Oh yeah, and I called the MAID program. Because I didn't believe how easy it was to access, and I think that we all know. Very sorry to hear. Oh yeah, and the way that military vets are treated is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I know a military vet right now he's in a wheelchair, so he needs to go into a condo that's easily accessible, and he was offered by the Canadian government $700 a month. It's like $4,000 a month to get a condo that's wheelchair accessible. Yeah, asylum claimees are eligible for $240 a day. It's not an exaggeration. It's the facts. We see the numbers. New arrivals to this country are treated better than Canadians. That's not an exaggeration. That's actually what's happening in this country. And in my estimation, that is traitorous behavior. You read about it fundamentally. The only reason for a government to exist is to serve the people in that country. There used to be Did you know there used to be revolutions in countries when they announced a 2% increase in taxes? A 2% increase in taxes used to lead to revolution. But I feel as though our society has become so sedated because they pump out all this slop, all this Netflix, all this garbage. There's a weed store every 2 seconds when you're in Canada. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. You can buy mushrooms wherever you want. You can buy weed wherever. They want a docile population that is not aware of what's going on. That's what the Canadian government is banking on. A docile population that will be happy to sit there. You watch, eventually they're going to attempt to bring in UBI, this universal basic income, where they just want Canadians to lay on their chair, take their $2,000 a month or whatever it is. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Thank you so much, Filipino white boy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, bro. That's incredible to see. Oh, there's so much TDS in Canada. The Trump derangement syndrome now literally defines the entire left wing. Thank you, Filipino white boy. Really appreciate the super chat. Thanks so much, bro. Thanks for the support. It's all about Trump derangement syndrome. That's all that the left has right now. Because it's like, you know what it's like? It's like you have this like really cool older brother or something like that. But you have nothing going on for yourself. So all you want to do is criticize them. It's like any healthy country, you need to build your own self-esteem. You need to be doing your own things. How pathetic is it? Like, we all know those people who just all they ever do is complain about other people. Those people are always the biggest losers. The people who are always complaining about other people. Winners, people who are doing well, people who have things going on in their own life are never complaining about other people because They're focused on what they're doing in life. You know what I mean? If you're a successful person, you're focused on what you're doing. Canada's like that. Canada's turning into like that pathetic loser that has nothing going on. So all that we have to do is say, "Oh, Donald Trump. Oh, the United States suck." It's like, no, focus on ourselves. We should be focusing on turning Canada into a wild success, which we absolutely could be. We have the largest potash reserves in the world. We have incredible LNG reserves. We have some of the most incredible oil reserves. Overall, our natural resources are incredible. And look at the incredible landscape. We have some of the most beautiful landscapes in the world. Go to Alberta, go to the East Coast, go to Vancouver. It's so incredible in this country. If we would focus on making it a business friendly environment, get rid of this whiny mindset, this whiny liberal mindset of talking about how we're on stolen land and DEI and I'm so downtrodden and a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man. If we could get rid of that garbage and focus on what makes us such an incredible country, the settlers that came here and tamed this wild land, Canadians, World War I, World War II, were known as being the most courageous soldiers out there. There's so much positive to focus on. If we could make this a business-friendly environment, there's countries all over the world that are begging us for our LNG, begging us for our oil, but we refuse to take advantage of it because there's such a loser mindset. And there's this Trump derangement syndrome. Everybody always complaining about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. It's so pathetic. It's like, no, that does every Canadian now, liberal Canadians define themselves by not being American. Yeah, thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate it. It's so pathetic. It's like, no, there's so many incredible things about Canadians. We're tough, we're courageous, we're strong minded, we're strong willed. We braved these brutal winters, and I think we're the toughest people on the planet. But the liberals want to have this victim mindset because they want to be able to push through their UBI. They want everybody on mushrooms. They want everybody on marijuana. They want everybody doped out of their mind so they don't know what's going on. Like and you know what? I don't know if you guys notice this, but I feel as though whenever I come across a liberal, you can always tell because they always have kind of that glazed over look in their eyes. Like it's like they always are repeating the exact same slogans, the exact same things that are going to come out of their mouth. And whenever you actually point them to the statistics, like you say, "Oh, did you know that since Mark Carney was elected prime minister, Canada has the highest inflation in the G7 at 7.4%? Did you know that a record 4 million Canadians are using food banks? Did you know that Vancouver and Toronto, when you consider the average salary in these cities, are the most expensive cities in North America?" It's like they just give you a glazed over look. A glazed over look. You're exactly right. It's fake compassion. It's truly incredible to me that the conservatives, who, as far as I'm concerned, are oftentimes essentially controlled opposition, because Polyev should go so much harder on the liberals, so much harder on the liberals. You could tear these guys a new, you know what, every single day. Polyev's going out talking about the most basic, obvious stuff about rolling back the incredible benefits offered to rejected asylum claimants. Did you know that rejected asylum claimants in Canada are eligible for things like physiotherapy? We have 6.5 million Canadians who can't get a family doctor, and a rejected asylum claimant is eligible for physiotherapy. That's insanity. But then what the liberals will do is the liberals will come out and they will actually virtue signal. You're exactly right. They will virtue signal and they will say, "Oh, where's your compassion?" The analog that I draw is, it's like if you had kids at home and you weren't feeding your kids, but you were giving food and gifts to your neighbor. That's exactly what Canada is like. It's a family that ignores their own kids, but gives stuff to their neighbors. That is the definition of sociopathy. That is the definition of psychopathy. Putting people who you don't know over your family members. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting sociopathic behavior. But the liberals, they virtue signal unlike I have never seen a crummier group of people have a bigger ego. I have never seen that in my life. It's truly shocking to see Carney get up there and virtue signal when it's like, Mark Carney, we know that you're working on behalf of Brookfield Asset Management. We know that when you go to China and you're signing these deals with the CCP, we know that you took $250 million worth of loans from China while you were working at Brookfield Asset Management. We know that. We know that you took $250 million from the CCP. We know when you go to Qatar, you're heavily involved with them financially. You're exactly right. I think that the majority of these liberal leaders do have sociopathic, psychopathic tendencies. And I do think that they legitimately hate Canadians. My opinion, there's no other way, in my opinion, that you can describe the MAID program. What other country, name me one other country in the world that is eliminating 40 to 50,000 of their own citizens, all from one demographic group a year. To you guys that didn't see the story, a 26-year-old Canadian with seasonal depression was recently taken out by the MAID program. A 26-year-old Canadian, and his family is actually suing the government. Thank God now. But the craziest thing is that these stories never get out. Like the story today that was released of the 4 men in the GTA who were trafficking 11 to 14-year-old Canadian girls, of course, new arrivals to the country. The fact that they just got out on bail, I kid you not, 4 men who were trafficking 11 to 14-year-old women got out on bail, but you never see it in the Canadian media because it's totally bought and paid for. The CBC receives $1.5 billion a year from the Canadian taxpayer. They should not be receiving a penny. How can you receive $1.5 billion a year? And how many of you have noticed on YouTube, the CBC shuts their comments down? So much for democracy. So how do we live in a democracy when our corporate broadcaster that steals $1.5 billion a year from us doesn't even leave comments on? That's 5 actual murders have been out on bail. Yeah. In Canada, they don't punish criminals. They walk all the time, and you never hear about it. Our criminal justice system is pathetic. What they want to do is they want to lock Canadians up who criticize them. And you always see this in communist countries. Solzhenitsyn wrote about this quite a bit. You can tell you're in a communist country when criminals walk free and opponents of the government get locked up. And that's exactly what's happening in Canada right now. If you are an opponent of the Liberal government, they are going to come after you, and they are going to come after you hard. If you are a criminal, as was just shown in the GTA, and the most disgusting criminal, the type of criminal that would traffic young women, you get out on bail. You get out. The deficit was way more than 1.9 billion. Right now, the annual deficit is $78.3 billion a year. And the total debt in Canada, they're running a deficit of 78 billion. The total deficit is $1.34 trillion. If you break it down on a per person basis in Canada with our total debt, every Canadian citizen owes $32,000. $32,000 is what every Canadian owes right now. And they're telling us that we can afford to spend billions of dollars on asylum seekers. I kid you not. It's the definition of insanity. Just so you guys know, I'm very soon going to have Fight for Canada brochures that I want to get out all throughout the country to spread our message. Total moratorium on immigration. Focus on Canadian citizens. If you want to check out my total platform, check out reclaimcanada.ca. The complete platform, both in terms of immigration and party platform, is there. Let me know if you're interested in me sending you these brochures once they're completed, because I want to get our message out there as best we can. The tides are turning. I'd be interested to see how many of you guys think there is going to be separation for Alberta. I would not be surprised whatsoever. I think there's an excellent chance that Alberta is going to separate from the country, and I don't blame them whatsoever. Alberta as a province could be so incredibly wealthy if they weren't handicapped by Ottawa. There is not a shadow of doubt in my mind. But what we need to do is we need to keep getting the word out. Yeah, Quebec may separate as well. You're absolutely right. there's a very strong separatist movement in Quebec right now. Quebec and Alberta may wind up separating. It's 100% true. But we have to keep fighting to get the word out because we know CBC, CTV, Global News, they will never tell the truth of criminals walking free in this country. They are a subsidiary. Good evening. Welcome, Firecracker 007. Thank you so much again, everybody who's in the chat, everybody who's commenting, everybody who's super chatted. Thank you so much. Everything goes towards the Fight for Canada movement. This is about taking our country back. This is the fight of a lifetime. But if anybody can do it, it's Canadians. It's absolutely Canadians. Look at how pathetic our opposition is. Mark Carney's pathetic. Sean Fraser's pathetic. Mark Miller's pathetic. Anita Anand is pathetic. Chrystia Freeland is pathetic. We are being suppressed. We're being suppressed like crazy. You absolutely wouldn't believe it. Like, they do not want the message to get out. But that's when you know they're scared. It actually is a good sign in a way when you're getting suppressed, when they're not letting you get your message out because you know it's effective. You know they're scared. They don't want to shut you up. It's the type of thing where it's like, you know, you have to worry about something if you don't have any enemies or people aren't worried about you because nobody's concerned with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, they do look like demons. Mark Carney, I don't know about you guys, but that guy looks as though there's something seriously wrong with that fellow. There's something seriously wrong with that fellow. And he's never in the country. Look into his family history. The man's family history is incredibly strange. It's evil. It's incredibly strange. But we need to keep pushing to get the word out. What I'm planning on doing shortly is doing, yeah, exactly. Mark Miller's teeth. Oh my God, he got banned. That's incredible. Yes, he's Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. That's actually a perfect example of exactly who he is. Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. All he cares about is money, is making himself as personally wealthy as he possibly can. But that's what we need to keep pushing out. We need to become better propagandists because I think that the vast majority of Canadians, when you tell them that Carney is exactly like Mr. Burns, it kicks in right away. It's so obvious. This man is only here to loot this country to make himself as wealthy as possible. He hasn't even lived his adult life in this country. He spent his entire adult life. Yeah. How can Carney spent his entire adult life outside the country. How can Ford call himself a conservative? How is Ford a conservative? That just gives you an example of how feckless and pathetic the Conservative Party is. Ford kisses Carney's ass Ford is Chief Wiggum. Ford is 100% Chief Wiggum. That's so true. Ford kisses Carney's ass. Ford is a liberal. How is he a conservative? He was just out at a news conference talking about he doesn't care who the prime minister is. It's like, so sorry, you don't stand for anything? Like, why are you a conservative then if you don't care who the prime minister is? It makes absolutely zero sense to me. Zero sense to me. Stolen name. Get out of here. You know what? I actually love it because these liberal clowns always show what absolute morons they are. Stolen land. Get out of here. If somebody believes Canada is stolen land, leave this country. You're truly pathetic. If you think that the country that the settlers arrived to in 1867 has absolutely any relation to what was built in Canada, you're a total dope. I'm not saying that the Indigenous didn't make contributions because they absolutely could, but the settlers built this country. It was brutal warfare in this country before they arrived. This stolen land stuff is so totally, these people, I actually don't think there's anything up here. The people who repeat ad nauseum, stolen land, stolen land. It's like, read a history book. What do you think? All of history is people coming and people taking territories over and building civilizations. You think the Indigenous would have built the civilization that we have here? No, it was the settlers who arrived and built it. And we as Canadians, we have that spirit in us and it needs to be reawakened, and it needs to be reawakened right now because we don't have that much longer. In my estimation, we have another 5 years, we have another 10 years. And then we're absolutely done for, in my opinion. But I will say, I I do love the fact that the wokies sometimes get mad in the comments because it means, is there anything more enjoyable than seeing a far left lunatic lose their mind? In my opinion, that's one of the most enjoyable things in life is seeing these people lose their minds. It's so enjoyable. When you watch, sometimes every once in a while I'll watch CBC, I'll watch CTV purely to watch Rosemary Farton or David Cochran lose their mind when they hear something that they don't like, because it's almost like you can see their brain malfunctioning. Like in real life, if you're not spewing out their DEI talking points, something malfunctions in their brain. Something malfunctions in their brain. They can't handle it. Like when you start running through the economic data in Canada and pointing out how objectively this country has been economically ravaged over the past 11 years, thanks to their net zero policies, it's like you can see in their head. It's like something going on. That's exactly right. The other thing is you can watch the US. When the US won, it's like these people's brains, they can't digest the fact that the US won the gold medal and they're actually proud patriots because they hate Canada so much. The fact that Austin Matthews Kachuk would show up in the White House with pride is something they can't understand, because emotionally stunted hysterics is exactly right, because fundamentally these people are not patriotic. They do not love Canada. You think that Rosemary Barton loves Canada? I'll tell you right now with 100% certainty, and just look at Rosemary Barton. Like you're absolutely right. We're so lucky that Austin Matthews lives in Toronto, and I'm plays for Toronto, and I hate to say it, but I'm almost going to be happy to see him leave. I'm sure that he's going to leave, and I'm always going to be happy to see it, because the way that these guys have been treated by the Canadian media has been truly disgusting. Who in their right mind wouldn't go to the State of the Union address? Who in their right mind wouldn't go shake the president's hand after winning a gold medal for the first time in 46 years? Absolutely nobody with a functioning brain cell would not do that. There's nobody. But again, Canadians, because our country is doing so poorly, because Canada, by every objective measure over the past 11 years, has been destroyed, their only personality, the only thing that they have going for them is the fact that they're not American. That's the only thing that they have going for them. It's so pathetic. It's like they virtue signal, they act as though they're better than everybody because they have nothing going on. As I was saying earlier, it's the equivalent of that person who has nothing going on in their life, so they just are constantly crapping on other people. Yeah, Rosemary Barton should change her name to Rosemary Farton. That seriously, and she should. I don't mean to be rude, but put the jelly rolls down, Rosemary. Like seriously, you're on television. We're paying $1.5 billion. We're paying $1.5 billion to see your mug on TV every day. Can you put down the jelly rolls for, come on, for a couple of minutes? Like we're forced to get you broadcast into our television stations every night. It's like, can you have a little bit of respect for the Canadian people? I hate it. But yet Canada is a sleeping giant. When we regain our national pride, this country has, I think, the highest potential of any country in the world. We literally have the natural resources. Canada is going to be at the nexus of the natural resources in terms of fresh water, in terms of potash, in terms of LNG, in terms of oil, in terms of everything. Canada is at the cutting edge, the cutting edge of everything that the world is going to need, everything that the world is going to need. And we just need a government that's not self-hating. That's the only thing that we need. We need a government that is not self-hating. And that's the exact opposite of what we have right now. And just walk around. I mean, I'm sure all of you can agree with me. You're all Canadians. You've been in this country for the entirety of your life. I've been here the entirety of my life. I don't know anybody with a straight face who would say it's better now than it was in 2006. It's not even close. So yeah, so what are the next steps, guys, is I'm going to be producing these brochures, these to be put up throughout the cities. If you're interested, let me know. I will send you Fight for Canada brochures to put up to get the word out, because it's an information battle. It's an information battle, and the odds are stacked against us. Thanks so much, guys. It's an information battle, and we all know all the corporate media, CBC, CTV, Global News, are absolutely stacked against us. So we need to use guerrilla tactics. Guerrilla tactics in order to get our message out. So the next live stream I'm going to do, just so everybody's aware, I'm going to be live streaming every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night at 7 p.m. So everybody's aware, Sunday at 7 p.m. will be the next time that I'm live streaming. By Sunday, I am going to have the pamphlets ready to go, and I'm going to be dropping the PDF in the chat for everybody who's interested, because the propaganda battle, guys, is so important. The propaganda battle is such an I'm in Montreal. The propaganda is so important, particularly when we're up against a Goliath like the Canadian government. So I'm going to have brochures designed, and Sunday night at 7. Again, I'm going to be live every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night at 7. I will have the brochures ready to go on Sunday night. And please, if anybody wants to help us in this propaganda battle, because that's exactly what it is. It is a propaganda battle. And if you want to educate yourself more, I've just dropped our party platform. The party platform, the Fight for Canada party platform, I just dropped it in the chat. It's going to be the next live stream will be Sunday at 7, at which point, yes, I'm going to make a note of that. I will have stickers, and I will have brochures on Sunday night at 7 that I will drop in the chat. And if you are interested, yes, I'll put my email in the chat. Please, if anybody has any ideas, wants to work with me, email me anytime. Like, this is my whole life is Fight for Canada now. I'm dedicating my life to this because I really believe that Canada is on the line. We have to put everything into this fight, or this country will not exist. So check out my, like I said, Sunday night, I will have stickers and brochures ready to go. If you have any questions for me, no, thank you very much. I will set up a Cash App. Thank you very much. And everybody who supported, thank you very much. If anybody wants to email me, my email is zachary.mccrae15. Exactly. Who have attended this broadcast are being monitored for life. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Yeah, email me, zachary.mccrae1515@gmail.com. On Sunday night, I'm going to have stickers ready to go, as well as brochures. And if you're interested in supporting this fight, because we are going to take Canada back, let me know. But yeah, I'm thinking that 3 times a week to strategize is good. And guys, don't worry about the trolls in the chat. I know we're going to have perfect. That's great, Zita. Yeah, email me anything and anything tactically or strategy wise that you guys are thinking. Please let me know, because this is an all hands on deck movement. We're going to need everybody fighting for our country. Absolutely, all hands on deck. So I will have the brochure. I will have the stickers ready to go. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody who supports. I will have brochures. I will have stickers on Sunday night, 7 o'clock. And yeah, God bless you guys. Thanks so much for everybody who tuned in. I'm going to start dealing on very specific topics on every broadcast as we get more organized. I actually want to do an across Canada tour at one point, which will be fantastic. Hopefully I'll be able to meet more of you in person, because we actually have to start meeting in person and working together. If anybody's in Montreal, send me an email at zachary.mccrae1515@gmail.com. We can start working together in person. I will have brochures. I will have stickers on Sunday night. And again, I will be streaming every single Wednesday, Friday, Sunday at 7 o'clock. Thanks so much, guys. God bless you guys. I will see everybody on Sunday night. God bless. Thanks, guys.